principal advantages are direct two-way communication based on power line carrier, DLMS COSIM over TCP/IP, which is basically the design protocol in which the technology has been formulated. It's open standard, which allows the integration with other manufacturers' equipment. In other words, we can integrate manufacturers who've designed in a similar protocol their metering to our backbone, and vice versa, our meters to their backbone. The meters operate in either prepayment or credit mode without the use of additional means, in other words, by way of cards, keys, or tokens. We can actually switch a meter remotely from one mode, prepayment, to credit, and vice versa. The advantage of prepayment meters to a utility or a municipality is manifest. It's use of money up front, which allows them to maintain their grid and, more importantly, to extend their grid. We have instances where they're property developers who've waited years to get electricity supply. The biggest problem, the biggest challenge, if you like, to most municipalities in South Africa, and indeed on a worldwide basis, is ensuring the collection of revenue. And to that end, we employ a software management platform which is linked to a vending system which allows almost a guarantee of 100% collection of revenues if it is utilized properly. Recently, AdGroup Moldova have produced what they call an OFDM modem, which has been developed to ensure faster transmission speed of data through the power line network. The modem allows the data rates to increase considerably, and it also ensures greater accuracy in data transfer and data capture as such. Essentially, in prepaid mode, the meters carry what is called an STS compliance. There's an STS association which ensures the prepaid standard. These meters are fully compliant with world standards, IEC, International Electrical requirement, and they are now, as Ruben said, fully SABS compliant. I'm going to, with Sifiso, just give you a brief overview of the various functions which I've described. He is more technically orientated than I, and more competent, most certainly, in those areas.
One of the advantages that this technology has is to be able to support multiple tariffs. This means for the utility that they can be able to charge a certain rand value for a certain time that you use your electricity. So if the utility requests you to switch off your geysers, which I know most of you don't. Who does? Now they can be in a position to reward the consumers who do switch off the electricity, because they will be able to measure the amount of energy used in a certain time. Whereas previously, if a meter reader comes, it comes once a month. The meter reader, if this were to be employed with the meter reader, he'll have to stay at your house, because he'll have to read the meter every hour. These meters can be read up to 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Another benefit to this product is that you can receive with your monthly bill your usage. So you can be able to be in a position to manage your usage, know what is taking up power in your house, switch off the appliances that you don't need, know how much your stove is heating up. Another feature of this product is the event management, where we are able to detect fraud, see if something is wrong with the meter connection, and the meter will relay all those messages to the back-end system. Currently, we have a system installed with City Power. All the meters that are currently installed by RubbytadGroup, City Power can view, control, and monitor them at any time of the day. Another feature that we have is energy balancing, where in a certain configuration, we can install these meters to detect imbalances in the distribution network, to distinguish between technical losses and non-technical losses, and to detect fraud attempts. That will help the utility in collecting revenue that they work hard for. We also have management outage reports, where we can export all the reports, all the data collected by the meters to external systems. These reports and data can be exported to external systems like your billing systems, your energy quality systems, and any other third-party systems. These meters, we can control them and monitor them remotely. They have a main relay and a secondary relay, which can be switched on and off remotely. This allows the utility to cut off consumers who don't pay remotely without having to go back to their houses, and connect them remotely without having to go to the house. These meters also operate in prepaid and credit mode. It's not two different meters, one meter. Operates in both modes, the same meter. So if you want to go from prepaid to credit, no one has to come to your house to change the meter. You will use the same meter. What we have done with these version 7 meters is that we have tried to bring technology to you, where now the utility can now, instead of advertising, well, they can do both or whatever, when they advertise those messages to please switch off unused lights, this customer interface unit is able to receive those messages. Like your cell phone, it will beep to you that you have a message that you can read. The utility will then broadcast those messages to you. We are giving the utility the power to inform their clients. Your bill, your monthly usage can be transported through the same device.
And what we're going to do in South Africa is to initially deploy the smart water prepayment and credit prepayment solution. But the nice thing is that it provides an integrated approach. Again, as mentioned already, you're starting a bit of thunder here from me, but I'll carry that boredom through. Although they're standalone units and there's a specific strategy and thrust of how they want to integrate electricity and water, it's not always possible. Sometimes you have, I suppose, Joburg Water, and you have Eskom, and you have City Power, so they don't always work together. So having them as standalone and a definite different utilities is also a benefit. Nevertheless, they can be deployed as integrated solutions. The strategy is effectively twofold. I'd like to think it's customer-centric. The writing is a bit small for me. I don't know if you can read that. But effectively, customer-centric being the customer wants to pay less, but I think he's willing to pay, but he actually wants to know how much he's using and when, and are there leaks, etc. So this system does that. It allows you to, those old eyes, to maintain those peak loads and make sure that if he sees that there's too much water being used, not have to take his torch out like I do and then go out in the bushes at night when nobody's using water in the house and then find out if the water meter's turning. You simply need to go to your user display in your house and check if there's water being consumed, and thereby obviously checking for your consumption and potential leaks. And as they have done over the past 8 years with their involvement with City Power and various other utilities, they've got a strong customer back office which supports these sort of queries. And together with that, and of course the support from overseas, they have a strong R&D presence as well. One of the problems that one has with manual water meter reading is that you can't really be at all the water meters at once. and take a snapshot. Because only with that can you effectively do what Howard and Sifiso mentioned, which is an energy balance. An energy balance effectively means I'm using so much water for a period of time, which is what the utility is sending out, and all the meters out there are consuming and showing the consumption of all of these individual points over a period of time. And to do an energy balancing report, you have to take a snapshot from start to end at the same time. And these meters can do that. So this would be the first time for a utility, a water utility, to effectively find out what their technical losses are. It's unheard of. It hasn't been done before. It's been done overseas, and we know it works. So it's something that it's maybe subtle, but it's actually, water losses are insane. It's if we look at the American reports, they lose up to 20-30%. And these are big utilities and apparently well managed. So these are the sort of things that we can do with the water meter. There are a lot of other features, but the important part is that we can manage the water. And why? Because we're monitoring properly. And there are all these side benefits, such as proper billing, pre or post billing options, and obviously alarms and tampers. All of these really to ensure that we get our money in as a utility and that we conserve a very, very scarce resource.
I'm going to introduce to you a speaker who is in charge of the numbers in this country. I don't interview him that often because I'm not able to say his title properly. It takes me long to say it. I have to rehearse it, to practice it. Statistician General, I think I got it right because I've been going through my head a lot. Mr. Palile Hotla, please come and talk to us.
Africa and South Africa has a very positive population pyramid, and it may give us dividends, but to get dividends, you must invest. And the question is, how well do we invest in our education and whether it actually yields those returns? If you look at that population pyramid, we're a very young country, and with technology and the kinds of things that we are seeing here, if we take advantage of that, then we can see dividends in the country, better employment opportunities, so on. 15.5 million under 15 years old. That's a serious potential to invest in. It's also a serious potential to actually invest in education. You can see Africans working in the... And of course, education, population, and group location actually determines our youth's future. What the future of the youth is depends on education, population group, whether you are white or black, and where you stay. Those things are very, very critical to how we actually... Let's look at the kind of education. That's the education of whites, already 70% as early as the 1900s, 1930, thereabout. They were already high in education. So one is inspired when I looked at the profile of RubbytadGroup, and you look at the people in there, you can see that inroads can actually be done, can be made. And the problem of 4% of Africans having only acquired higher education can be solved. So what RubbytadGroup is doing is saying, here are the technical subjects. Let's go and do them, and then we can resolve the problem in South Africa and solve the problem of Africans having to live to eat, not to eat to live. The Sub-Saharan Africa is about 1 billion people. Sub-Sahara, 800 million, growing at about 3%. DRC has not run a census, but for 30 years, and I don't know where the numbers come from, but they are about 65 million. But indeed, when you look at provision of electricity and water and sanitation on the subcontinent and the infrastructure programs that have to be there, there's just almost an insatiable possibility. And if an industry relocating to South Africa to produce this, then you have speed to market, a bigger market, and a growing market. And I think the answers are largely in education. I will not want to hold you any further, more so that you have to eat to live rather than live to eat. Thank you very much.
Please welcome Zama Kampi, who is the chairperson of the National Youth Skills Development Program. Zama.
Forward with youth development, forward. Imagine if young people can be able to sell electricity, how many jobs you can create? What about water? If young people can sell water, instead of us going and buying from the FNB, ATMs, ShopRite and other places, and young people sell that. Look, in our country, we have got about 1 million solar geysers who are rolling out. If we can say, out of 1,000 of those solar geysers we put on the roof, 20 young people are employed, how many jobs we can create? What about heat pumps? What about the smart metering systems we are launching here tonight? I know places like Tshwane and part of City Power has already launched this. Imagine if young people can be trained that and we create those jobs. How many jobs we can create? Solar street lighting, traffic lights, you name it, the list is endless as artisans. What about us who are not in prisons? So our intention, in short, we want to create as many cooperatives as possible. We want to create ESCOs and we submit them to ESCOMs and other places. We want to create some incubation, where incubate some young people to run their own companies and understand about this infrastructure development we have got.
I'm going to call on Mr. Tifokama, who is the Senior Project Manager with City Power.
City Power, as a state-owned entity of the City of Johannesburg, is one of the first entities within the municipal environment to support and pilot smart metering initiatives, leading eventually to project rollout for such technologies in our city of Joburg. The City Power supportive outlook towards smart metering technologies is consistent with the City of Joburg's growth and development strategy, popularly known as the GDS 2040. One of the key outputs of the 2040 GDS strategy is to turn City of Joburg into a sustainable and financially resilient smart city of the future. The GDS objectives and outputs can only be realized through improved revenue collection as a result of utilizing smart metering infrastructure. For us, we were able to overcome those challenges due to our collective effort towards, from our side, to ensure that we also move forward as a city of Joburg. City Power will continue to invest in smart technologies and infrastructure in order to ensure that we become a smart African city. I thank you.
Now, the other side of the coin, we're going to hear from Eskom. Mabuye Mapaka, who's a senior manager with Eskom. If you could please come to the stage now as well.
Eskom will be very proud in the future when we say most of these technologies that we're using are home-brewed. We will want to see home-brewed technologies that assist us in dealing with the problems that we're having. Eskom, as one of the biggest generators, distributors, and transmitters of electricity in the country, will actually be interested in working in collaboration, not with RubbytadGroup alone, but with all other technological companies out there that will actually give us technologies and systems to deal with our. I am very proud to hear that RubbytadGroup is importing technology, but not just importing it, bringing it here so that we can then brew it here at home and make sure that South Africans learn the craft, that South Africans can now be proud to say, we have brought in this technology here and we are using it.
I'm now going to call on Mr. David Mahuma to please come forward.
SANEDI is a parastatal, it's a state-owned entity. It is owned by the Department of Energy. It's established under the Energy Act of 2008, Act number 34. And its mandate really is to do or undertake energy research and advise on policy. We are also looking at micro and mini hydro systems, which can be used, to generate electricity depending on the natural resources that are available. So there's quite a number of, technologies that can be used to assist people to generate energy and save some money. So there's a lot of potential and opportunities in the energy space, particularly in the working for energy space, that youth can benefit from. We, through the organizers, will share details and we will be more than willing, to collaborate with the National Youth Skills Development Program to see how, we can enhance the skills and by extension create the jobs that are necessary amongst the youth, women and the disabled. Thank you very much.
We already trained young people and women within the renewable energy space, and we have also established the corps for them and assisting them now to join RubbytadGroup. When I spoke to the director, he said he will be very keen to actually have those young people who have studied energy to become part of this initiative. I want to say on that note, congratulations to you, RubbytadGroup. And we would actually stand behind you and support you to make sure that we give you enough young people and women to basically play in this space going forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Thank you to all the speakers. Let's give them all a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And congratulations to RubbytadGroup for this really exciting, innovative technology that is going to make a huge difference to our lives.
Well, I've been attending to the meter readings of our own energy levels. And my sense is that our energy levels are a bit low. And before we go through any load shedding at this time, I think it is reasonable that we should build up capacity. Thank you.
Fiction.